Thomas Wake movement. That's the double X. They gotta do it twice. Gang, gang. Um, we are going to talk about the Aquarian age. Wake movement, the Aquarian age. We are going from Pisces, which is mutable water. We have three ways that we get the four elements together, giving us our 12 astrological, zodiacal signs, months. The Jewish calendar goes by this, and so does the church's calendar. Our calendar doesn't go by the year from spring to spring. March 17th, the first day of Aries, first day of spring, it's the first day of the year. First sign of the zodiac, Aries, the crown, the ram. Worthy is the land that opens up the seventh seal, for we have seven chakras in us. The middle fourth one being our heart, ruled by Leo, the lion. Now, we're going from mutable water, which is the last month of the season, the last sign of that piece of the pie. And then we have the way that they start off, which is cardinal. So we have our cardinal, fixed, mutable signs that bring us through a season. Now, each season, spring goes to fire, summer to earth, fall to air, winter to water. So Pisces is water, mutable water. You know, Pisces, they're very empathic, dwell in the land of emotions and imagination, creativity. Um, we get life comes up out of the waters of Pisces. And then we go to Aquarius, to the middle of winter, of the water. So we have air water, airy water, fixed. So this is out of the waters of Pisces, which is delusion as well. You've been stuck in a freaking murky fishbowl. Which is why we have our whole banking system and the holy see, which is just a bank for souls. I'm coming from the Roman Catholic Church as an employee. And we have the river banks, the banking systems with in charge of currency. They have us being doctored at birth as we go through the birth canal. Now, that veil of not knowing our own, that's like the waters of forgetfulness that we drink before we're incarnate. Well, now we're remembering who we are. We're becoming conscious. Aquarius is when God consciousness comes in to the creation of the waters. So this is going to be new, innovative ways of doing money, especially with Uranus and Taurus right now. And then with Saturn in Aquarius, there's the authority of the system is going to the rebel of Earth, Taurus, Taurus and Uranus. Uranus is heaven, Taurus Earth. There's the king of heaven going to Earth. And what's happening with Uranus' sign Aquarius? Well, just the old gatekeepers there, and they're coming off in a square. Rush Limbaugh just passed away today. There is a Saturnian figure in Aquarius, the old establishment of what? There's Saturn, and then we have Aquarius communications to the masses, popularity, Aquarian type things. Coming into a perfect square exacting today, which is Earth, shocks. Uranus is shocking. So he had a, I'm sure that's a real shock to Rush Limbaugh's Earth. You're dead. Probably a heart attack, I'm guessing. I mean, that's what we all ultimately die from, isn't it? I would expect just that beam is going to run through the whole until 2023, I think. It's a real breaking down of the tower so that the new can come in. The new's got to come in. It's what if you were to have these in your personal chart, which I happen to. This is smack dab on freaking me. So I'm 7 degrees fixed sign of Scorpio. Saturn is 7 degrees fixed sign of Aquarius. Uranus, 7 degrees fixed sign of freaking Earth, Taurus. So if you happen to be a 7-degree Leo, you're getting this really hard right now too. I'm about to cry because I have 7 degrees Scorpio, and it is what it is. It's a death and a rebirth, and so this change is going to come, and I know what change is going to come, and what if you know anything about astrology, you probably just you get to a point you're like, okay, every time it's just seems like every report is like, okay, here's a big change. Because what do stories have? A beginning, a middle, an end of the change. You have a main character who doesn't change the whole time. That's not an exciting book to read. There's no growth, character development. And what is going to bring about these changes? Often exterior events. Not going back to a normal. Normal was slavery. And I just heard recently that America alone throws away enough food, legit just throws away enough food to feed the world. The amount of money that our COVID relief plan went to Israel, who has a balanced budget. I don't know why we're sending them money. I do, because we are the puppet of Israel. That's upsetting to wake up to. Okay, there's Uranus, a waking up, a revelation, an air, a thought. It's a complex system. I had to think about this and put it together. I like to say I had some divine guidance. I came across others doing this research on the internet, Aquarian. Right now, our North Node, which is like kind of our karmic point, it moves every 1 year and 7 months. It's the nodes of our moon, which also moves in a counterclockwise position, just like the great years do. So that's why we're going from Pisces to Aquarius. It's a retrograde motion of the ecliptic. While the yearly one goes like clockwork. See, we're in a clock within a clock, within a clock within a clock. Just give you a little bit of sense. I mean, astrology has science to it. It's astronomical. Astronomically, our ecliptic is pointed into the constellation Aquarius. And it changes every 2,150 years, give or take. So the last 2,000 years ago from now, we were transitioning from Aries into Pisces. Pisces is like devotion, religious devotion, which is so important. to have. One of the ways to like open up your consciousness is to be devoted to divinity, to sacred anything that brings in more power. If you want to really tap into the spiritual world, you want to try to find out what the oldest god was, the oldest, most popular god got power. You want to try to tap them all. Aleister Crowley and Thelema and other magical practices, Solomon, the Lesser Keys of Solomon, Rosicrucians, and the mystical traditions, what they will do, they'll just call them angel names, but they're angels are what? A facet of God. Everything is. You want to call upon the Masons know this. Their whole thing is decorated in Egyptian motif, calling upon the god Set or Saturn, who is a great architect who sets things into place, also known as Seth, also known as Saint Joseph, who works as a carpenter. And his son is Zeus, Jupiter, Jesus. Jupiter is what goes into experience. Saturn creates it. Saturn time, Kronos, with his consort, Rhea. Together they have Kriya, her daughter, of creation. Area, Rhea, space, together with time, Father Time, Kronos, the chronometer. Jupiter, Jesus experiences it. Mars is our willpower and energy to move forward and to act. The sun takes all of this in. The sun's the stargate, our identity, our consciousness. It brings light, it illuminates. Our consciousness is the sun. Truly and verily. Venus, our female receptive side. In Taurus, it's receiving Earth, fertile. I guarantee you Tauruses are the most, and Cancer, the most fertile signs. Capricorn as well. I go all over the place on these things. Well, this was about going into the age of Aquarius, so astrology is going to have to be talked about, and we're learning it together. I just had a Dodge Ram, an Aries Ram, cut me off. Mars and Venus are squaring today. There's another tough aspect, but at least that one doesn't last till 2023. But we'll have the effects of that for this week. I think it perfects today or tomorrow. Mars, our action-orientated warrior, fiery self, with Venus, our receptive, peaceful, loving planet, are going to come into a 90-degree angle. 9 is the energy of Mars. Hence, the 90-degree angle, a square, has the energy, a Martian energy, a warlike energy. But it's all about how we use it. When we incarnated, we're given 7 colors, the 7 spectrums of light, from blue down to red. We go from blue, we come from blue, the night sky, dark blue, and we come into red. The word atom means red. 7 heavenly visible luminaries. Uranus is outside of that cube. 6 corners with 1 in the middle. That's the cube. Just like we're in clocks within clocks, we're in cubes within cubes. A cube is how you circle the square. Gleaming the cube. That was like a Tony Hawk. That was an old skateboarding movie. I had a dream about Tony Hawk the other night. I got a skate park and maybe we were friendly. Aquarius. We have to be careful not to lose our soul to technology. Pisces is losing your soul to a religious illusion. Now we're waking up out of that with the advent of the opening of information sharing and communications via the internet. Saturn and Aquarius, Saturn's restrictions, banning people, canceling. Saturn's got the freaking sickle. As he just goes around canceling shit. And so, the Saturnian energy, like hierarchical in Capricorn, that's been taken and used against us. It's like the black cube is Saturn. It's actually, that's the feminine side of Saturn. Binah on the pillar of Solomon's temple. The left hand path, severity, darkness. But to everything, there's a light and a dark to everything. There's a light and a dark to something that's a light and a dark to that side. It goes on ad infinitum. So we want to bring them together into a beautiful silver gray. We want to bring gold and silver together. Put a gold bar next to a silver bar and wrap them in platinum. Wear that around. You'll be freaking Superman. If you put a diamond on it, you're going to want to set it in lead. Bring it together, these opposites. Oh, hallelujah. They say we're stepping out of I think in Indian mysticism and tradition, they call it like the Kali Yuga. And I think we're going into we're coming out of the Kali's like, think about the 12th sign of the zodiac, Pisces, is the flood of Noah. It's when everything just, the end. The end of the end. That's why Saturn's home is in Capricorn, exalted in Aquarius. Its joy is found in Pisces. Now, the Jewish religion, Saturn in Cana, Mesopotamia, went by the name El. In Egypt, Set. The Jewish religion holds special veneration, which comes from the word Venus. The Muslims take on Venus. They celebrate Friday, Veneris, Venus's day. Green is their special color. They have green on their flag. They have the 5-pointed star on their symbol with the moon, which is the moon and Venus. So really, it is the religion of love. It shows up in interesting ways. I fell in love with this girl who wore like the hijab and everything. We got to SOS, save our soul. That's the ship that we're coming out of at Pisces, and now we're about to hit the waters of air. The water of air, John the Baptist of Aquarius. Aquarius gets number 7. This is where Saturn turns from the accuser and Capricorn to the redeemer in Aquarius. Soteriology is a study of salvation. Soter, Saturn. And that will commence.